This training presentation is provided by Health Smart Virginia. Marijuana or cannabis legalization. What are the implications for youth use prevention? We want to give many thanks to the Office of Behavioral Health Wellness, Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services for funding this presentation. There are many competing influences on youth marijuana use. Despite increasing legalization, laws in every state still prohibit teens from possessing or using marijuana for recreation. Virginia law, for example, carries a penalty for anyone under 21 years of age found in possession of marijuana or marijuana products in public. So, why has daily marijuana use increased significantly among middle school and high school students since 2018? It seems as if marijuana is more available to youth than it ever was, and there is an ongoing misperception that marijuana is a harmless, all-natural, non-addictive substance with no serious side effects, and this results from efforts to legalize marijuana across the country, mixed media messages of popular culture promulgated through television, music, and social media, accepted uses of non-psychoactive CBD products, and the promotion of vaping. Youth marijuana use. Teen risk perception is decreasing as the harms remain the same. The SAMHSA Evidence-Based Resource Guide series, Preventing Marijuana Use Among Youth, shows that studies on adolescent behavior have found that as teens' perception of risk decreases, their risk-taking behavior, for example, marijuana use, increases. This is of concern because the evidence shows that early marijuana use among children is associated with negative impacts on brain development, neuropsychological and neurodevelopmental decline, and poor school performance. Increased school dropout rates, and increased risk for psychotic disorders in adulthood, increased risk for later depression, and suicidal ideation or behavior. Additionally, there's a concern about the likelihood of dual use of marijuana and tobacco or nicotine, which has been shown to be extremely harmful to the health of young and old alike. The 2020 National Survey on Drug Use and Health showed that use is prevalent. 1 out of 5 people aged 12 or older in the US engaged in past year illicit drug use, with 84% of those reporting using marijuana. In the 2020 Monitoring the Future survey, the percentage of teens who vaped marijuana in the past 12 months, they were asked whether they vaped marijuana in the past 12 months. That percentage increased slightly between 2019 and 2020, after a market increase from 2017. So in 2020, 8.1% of 8th graders, 19.1% of 10th graders, and 22.1% of 12th graders reported that they vaped marijuana in the past 12 months. You can see the chart to the left of the slide on this page. The percentage of 10th graders reporting daily or near daily marijuana vaping decreased significantly between 2019 and 2020. You can see this on the chart to the right. Less than 1% of 8th graders, 1.7% of 10th graders, and 2.5% of 12th graders reported daily or near daily vaping of marijuana in 2020, compared to 0.8% of 8th graders, 3% of 10th graders, and 3.5% of 12th graders who reported daily or near daily vaping of marijuana in the 2019 survey. As we continue to look at the 2020 Monitoring the Future survey results, I'd like to call your attention to the chart on this page. you can see that 35.2% of 12th graders, 28% of 10th graders, and 11.4% of 8th graders have used marijuana in the past year. Additionally, 6.9% of 12th graders, 4.4% of 10th graders, and 1.1% of 8th graders use marijuana on a daily basis. When we look at Virginia youth marijuana use data, we looked at the 2019 high school youth risk behavior survey, and that found that 17% of Virginia high school students currently use marijuana. So what is marijuana? Marijuana, also known as cannabis, is made up of seeds, leaves, flowers, and stems from the cannabis plant. People use it in several forms, including dried and smoked, vaped, or ingested in baked goods. Marijuana contains over 400 chemicals. Two main chemicals of marijuana are the non-psychoactive CBD or cannabidiol and the psychoactive THC, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabidiol. So THC and CBD. Research studies show that while CBD is non-addictive and non-intoxicating, THC, however, is addictive and can have adverse effects on the brain. We're very concerned about THC. How does marijuana work? According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, THC's chemical structure is similar to an actual naturally occurring brain chemical called anandamide. Anandamide sends chemical messages between nerve cells or neurons throughout the nervous system and affects brain areas that influence pleasure, memory, thinking, concentration, movement, coordination, and sensory and time perception. The concern is that because of its similarity to anandamide, THC can also message or activate neurons, disrupting various mental and physical functions. So more on how marijuana works. As we said, THC, mimicking anandamide, activates the brain's reward system, which includes regions that govern the response to healthy, pleasurable behaviors such as sex and eating. THC stimulates neurons in the reward system to release dopamine, a signaling chemical, at levels higher than typically observed in response to natural rewarding stimuli. This surge of dopamine creates a high or a feeling of pleasure and teaches the brain to repeat the rewarding behavior, helping account for marijuana's addictive properties. The developing adolescent brain relies heavily on the brain's reward center, which makes teens more sensitive to the effects of dopamine and at greater risk of addiction. The short and long-term consequences of youth marijuana use. In addition to the risk of addiction, marijuana use leads to other short and long-term consequences. Short-term effects from marijuana use include feelings of relaxation or demotivation, increased heart rate, loss of coordination and slower reaction times, an altered sense of time, increased appetite, and feelings of anxiety, fear, distrust, and panic. So those are the short-term effects that may result from marijuana use. Marijuana use over a long period of time can also cause respiratory problems and make it difficult to retain and process information. Marijuana use among teens increases the risk of academic problems. How? Well, THC impacts the hippocampus, which is a part of the brain that is responsible for cognitive functions, including attention, critical thinking, processing, and storing new information. Impaired focus and concentration have serious implications for student learning and achievement. In addition, marijuana use among teens has also been linked to a lack of motivation. Short and long-term consequences of youth marijuana use. Athletic performance can also be affected by marijuana use. THC also affects parts of the brain that control motor skills, such as reflexes and coordination, which are critical for athletic performance. Even cognitive and motor functions that are diminished for a short period of time can increase the risk of a serious injury, which has implications for youth sports concussions. Many teens will learn to drive an automobile during their adolescent years, which makes safe driving a serious concern, a serious desire that they drive safely. We're concerned because the same capabilities that teens need to perform well in school and in sports, such as concentration, critical thinking, and the motor skills, are the same skills necessary for safe driving, and THC impairs these functions and can increase the risk of crashes. The increasing accessibility of marijuana is concerning to several national health organizations. As you can see, here are statements by the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and the American Society of Addiction Medicine. They've issued these statements to caution about the risks to youth and urge a range of strategies to be deployed to minimize harm to youth. I will leave you on this slide for a little while, and I want to note that all of the PowerPoints, as well as the article that this slide presentation is based on, are on the homepage of the Health Smart Virginia website. And the source of all of these statements and much of the content in this presentation was from Preventing Marijuana Use Among Youth. In order to effectively prevent youth marijuana use, it's important to understand how it's used. So again, the information that will be presented now is from this document, SAMHSA's Evidence-Based Resource Guide Series, Preventing Marijuana Use Among Youth. How people use marijuana has changed substantially over the years. In addition to smoking traditional marijuana cigarettes, a vast array and combinations of manufactured products have evolved. And there are several mechanisms of use: smoking, inhaling, oral ingestion, and transdermal ointments and other things that are put on the skin and allow marijuana to be absorbed. And you can take a minute to look at this slide. And again, this information is on the in the article on the Health Smart Virginia homepage, as will be the PowerPoint, and is in that document from SAMHSA. So the forms of marijuana used include edibles, marijuana-infused beverages, topical applications, and various devices for inhalation, including vaping pens. There's also been an increase in people using products originally designed for nicotine and tobacco for marijuana, such as blunts, vaporizing devices, and e-cigarettes. Youth are using marijuana via all of the routes illustrated below, especially edibles and concentrates. They're using marijuana, and there are a lot of marketing. There's a lot of marketing going on to mimic actual candy items, and those include marijuana components. Food and beverages are being infused with THC, including products such as brownies and cookies, candies such as gummies and lollipops, sodas, alcoholic beverages such as wine and beer. Edible marijuana products are packaged similarly to non-marijuana products, such as gummies and Sour Patch Kids, and are very dangerous because they can be mistaken by children for the actual candy product, but instead they contain THC. So again, this makes them attractive to youth. How is marijuana used? Another way youth are attracted to marijuana is through flavoring. Using flavoring such as orange soda flavoring for marijuana infused beverages, flavoring marijuana products such as vaping concentrates or hemp wrappers used for blunts, and also naming marijuana products to imply fruit or other flavors. For example, grape peanut butter cup or pineapple haze, even if that fruit or flavor is not present. The ability to avoid detection may be one reason why vaping marijuana has become increasingly popular among youth. As you can see here, some e-cigarettes are made to look like regular cigarettes, cigars, or pipes. Some resemble pens, USB sticks, and other everyday items. Vaping liquid marijuana products can lack the characteristic smell of marijuana, making detection of use difficult. And vaping devices are also packaged in ways that resemble memory sticks or other non-drug paraphernalia devices. So these devices can be hidden in plain sight from parents and other adults. There are promising environmental strategies to prevent youth use. And despite the relaxing of social norms and policies, marijuana is a significant youth public health concern, but there are lessons from other states. And this table identifies some of the promising environmental prevention strategies being used across the US. For example, regulating the price of marijuana, so increasing taxes or banning price promotions. And the hope is that this will decrease youth marijuana use. And regulation of the marijuana retail outlets, so limiting the number and location of retailers through licensing or zoning, limiting the hours and days of sales, banning those under the age of 21 from even entering the dispensaries, and regulating where marijuana and related products can be sold. And then regulation of marijuana product manufacturing and packaging. So as we had just seen with the candy mimicking and the flavored beverages, there are efforts to ban marijuana products that have these added synthetic flavors and odors, and to ban THC-infused edibles likely to attract children and youth, such as candies, cookies, and beverages, and to ban THC-infused alcohol and tobacco products, to require plain product packaging and require transparency on product labels, and then require prominent graphic marijuana warning labels with varied and rotating messaging, much as you see on tobacco items, nicotine items. And then fourth strategy is to limit marijuana advertising and marketing. So banning marijuana advertising on television, radio, billboards, and social media. And if it's not banned, limiting the advertising with youth audiences. Removing the marketing, promotion, and advertising dollars from admissible business expenses for state income tax calculations, funding public health media campaigns, and then also prohibiting health and therapeutic claims associated with marijuana. These state and local strategies aim to increase the penalties and the price and decrease the availability, attractiveness, and promotion of youth marijuana use. So this presentation was based on a resource article that can be found on the homepage of healthsmartvirginia.org. That article offers numerous resource links to organizations, including the National Institute for Drug Abuse and the Cannabis Awareness and Prevention Toolkit from Stanford Medicine. The grade level pages of Health Smart Virginia also provide numerous instructional resources to be used for substance misuse prevention. Additionally, this PowerPoint will also be loaded onto the homepage of Health Smart Virginia, so that you could either re-record it for your own use, or feel free to share this recording as well. And our hope is that we are able to prevent youth marijuana use and encourage youth to lead healthy lives. Thank you.